Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde, or in short, Oscar Wilde, is a literary artist of the 19th century who was a forerunner of the avant-garde literary movement of the early 20th century, a genre of art that sought experimental forms, usually aesthetically innovating. Delving into the life of Oscar Wilde, he is known for his self-proclaimed genius as an Irish wit, poet, playwright, and novelist. Novelist only because of the picture of Dorian Gray. He is most famous for his 4 successful comedic plays: The Lady of Windermere's Fan, A Woman of No Importance, An Ideal Husband, and the most notable, The Importance of Being Earnest. Born on October 16th of 1854, Wilde grew under the domain of professional and literary parents. His father, Sir William Wilde, was a leading ear and eye surgeon who himself had written works on archaeological and folklore stories. His mother, Jane Wilde, was a poet under the name of Speranza. Wilde was an advocate of the aesthetic movement in the late 19th century European art movements centered on the doctrine that art exists for the sake of beauty alone. It does not need to serve any political, didactic, or other purpose. In other words, art for art's sake. Taking on the idea that true art is independent of any and all social values and utilitarian function. This in mind, he was a man of dandy aesthete, which was the fad, craze, and trend of the literary circles of London in 1880, where he could very well be found. His dandy, flamboyant, and nonchalant form of expression in literary works successfully bridged the Romantic and decadent literature to realism, modernist, and impressionist literary works of the late 19th and 20th centuries. Of his notable works, The Importance of Being Earnest is a story of 2 bachelors, Jack Worthing and Augie, who created alter egos named Ernest to escape their tiresome lives. They attempt to win the hearts of 2 women who conveniently claim to only love men called Ernest. And in the picture of Dorian Gray, tells of a young man named Dorian Gray, is an archetypal tale of a young man who purchases eternal youth at the expense of his soul. He has a portrait painted by the artist Basil Hallward, who thinks Dorian Gray is a very beautiful man and becomes obsessed with him. Lord Henry then meets Dorian Gray in Basil's studio, who influences Dorian to live his life to the fullest by indulging in one's impulses, a book that questions some morals. In all, Oscar Wilde, and in his works, opens the door for the following artists in their avant-garde forms and expressions for the beginning of the 20th century.